that was quite common in those days. It was very common in Rome to have simplex priests. Simplex priests in Rome were usually ordained just to say mass after mass after mass and after mass, so Rome could collect that money. I mean, that was in Rome. I mean, that's how they handled that. So Father Solanus could not hear. And he accepted that very well. He had no problem with that. He always obeyed his superiors and kind to the brothers and fathers and kind to me. The blessing of the sick was going on for years, and I became acquainted with it in 53, 52, and 51. I used to come down on Wednesday afternoon, and it was very simple. It was called the St. Maurice blessing at that time, and back in the 50s. That St. Maurice blessing, and it was very simple. They just brought out the relic of the true cross. They said a few words of encouragement, and then we came to the altar railing, and they just tapped you on the shoulder. They went right down the line, blessing the people in that way. Then sometimes Father Solanus would have the blessing of the sick. Not all the time, but the priests would take turns of doing that. That's where he gave, a little talk, which was allowed. It was not a theological sermon, but there was a little fervorino, a little upbeat, and so he did that. Yeah, so he did that. So, about myself and Father Solanus, I have written this up that. I was 1 year as a cleric, 1 year at Huntington in Indiana, and they told me also that I couldn't go on because of my studies, just like Father Solanus, and so I accepted that. Then I joined the brothers for 18 years, and during that, but they told me I couldn't go on. I was in darkness for about three days. The only thing I heard inside of me, don't worry again, and your day will come. So I waited 18 years. The year came, 18 years later, to go back to studies. So I went down the same path as Solanus because of my studies. The marks were not too high, just like Father Solanus, were not too high. So 18 years, and then I waited. So, and during those 18 years, I did almost the same work, running the soup kitchen, out gathering money, cook for the friars, washing clothes. So I did all the domestic work during those 18 years. So I went down the same road as Father Solanus, and you might say. So I always think of him when my days got dark, So I just wanted to say that.